On April 6, 1844, the New York Sun published what it claimed was the most extraordinary feat of human engineering ever accomplished. 8 men, including a famous author and 2 seasoned aeronauts, had crossed the Atlantic Ocean in a hot air balloon. Not in days or weeks, in 75 hours. The ship was called the Victoria, and the world lost its collective mind. It was an era when flight itself was still pure fantasy. The best minds in Europe had just watched 2 major flying machine experiments end in expensive, humiliating failure. People were skeptical of anything that promised to breach the sky. But this wasn't theory. This was news, published in the city's most trusted paper, backed by eyewitness accounts, signed by men of standing. The streets erupted. People fought over copies of the Sun. The sole paper which had the news, they called it. The rush was described as beyond anything the city had ever seen. The story had the texture of absolute truth. The balloon was 800 feet in circumference, constructed with the finest materials. The voyage began on Saturday morning from England. The crew included Sir Everard Bringhurst, Mr. Osborne, nephew of a British lord, Harrison Ainsworth, the celebrated author of Jack Sheppard, and Monk Mason, whose name was already legendary in aeronautic circles. 2 Navy seamen from Woolwich rounded out the party. The account was supposedly drawn directly from their joint diaries. Every detail was rendered with the precision of technical documentation. Wind speeds, altitude readings. The exact moment they crossed from one continent to another. But here's where the story fractured. No other newspaper had confirmed it. No ships reported seeing this massive balloon cross their paths. The names were real. The men were real. But they were never interviewed. No official records from England or America corroborated a single claim. Within days, the skepticism began to crystallize. The Sun's own editor eventually admitted the truth. It was satire, a hoax, an elaborate fictional exercise published as if it were fact. The man behind it was Edgar Allan Poe, the same Edgar Allan Poe who would later write The Raven. He had written it as what he called a jeu d'esprit, a witty literary prank. He wanted to see how far a well-constructed lie could travel, if it wore the clothes of authenticity. The public had been thoroughly deceived, and yet the question that lingered in the papers, in the taverns, in people's minds was this. If no one could prove the Victoria didn't make the crossing, why should we be so certain it didn't? What do you think really happened to that balloon?